Hello, troopers, and welcome back to G.A.R. Productions. Welcome back to Ask G.A.R. What a wonderful week it has been over here. At least a nice warm week. It was a bit chilly last week, so a nice warm week. And let's get right into it. Hey, Guy 3138 asks, have you always been a Star Wars fan, or were there other themes that held your interest? Also, are there any themes that you would be interested in now? And don't ever be sorry that you haven't watched them all. That's okay, buddy, because I don't think anyone has, and even if they have, it's a good question to ask anyways to re-bring up. So I have always... Yes, since I started collecting Lego Star Wars in 2006 was my first set. There were, though, other themes at times that held a little bit, more so just one theme that held more sway than Star Wars, but I still got some sets during that time. And then one other one that I wanted to try and get, or two other kind of themes that kind of went together, but I didn't end up getting that much and ended up then just stuck with Star Wars. So the first one was 2007 Lego Mars Mission. That one really got me for a while, for the 2 years it was out. Got a good little chunk of their sets, and then a couple years later, when I was early teenager, I think, like 13, I ended up getting most of the rest of the sets. There's still a couple I didn't end up getting, but I have most of those sets still, and that's my second favorite theme of all of Lego is Lego Mars Missions. Again, still got some Star Wars sets, but there for a little bit during those years, and then later on, they did hell some sway, so that's my second favorite set. I actually am a little weird and just retcon in my head of my own quote-unquote Star Wars universe that's just another planet. So I use them as another faction, kind of fighting with the Separatists sometimes and different things like that. So yeah, I do use them in Star Wars. Anyways, but that is another theme. And then another one that I really enjoy, I'd like to end up getting more of if I can do well enough, but they're quite expensive, so I don't know if that's going to happen, would be Lego Mystical Castle from 2007 was another one. I only got one set from that wave. I'd like to get more. And then also Kingdoms, I got like 2 or 3 small sets, but that one's almost harder because it's straight up 2 night factions. That's actually almost more expensive than Castle, and I like Castle a little bit better. So those are 2 themes that did for a time, but I would like to get into again, finishing those out or building like a blue crown army would be really cool, and like a black dragon and a red lion army would be really cool. It's just really expensive. It's way more expensive than building a clone army even, and that's expensive. Everyone knows that. So it's kind of a long answer, but yes. So currently they have, or in the past they have, right now not really. There is like one Marvel, so I'd like to get the Quinjet, but like overall as other themes, it's mostly just Star Wars now with a few misnomers here and there. I would like to get Rivendell, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's just because if I'm going to spend that much on a Lego set, it's probably, I really want to shoot for trying to get the UCS Venator. But until that happens, I would, if I had to pick between something almost that expensive, I would go with the Venator over the Rivendell. But that's beside the point, not really the question. So yes, Mars Mission, Castle, and Kingdoms have the ones that have held other interest, but always Star Wars was always the undercurrent or the main current. Joshua Wald asks, would you ever consider working in a Lego store and then getting 50% off everything? The only thing would, I live close enough that I could do it, but first thing, they only get 50% off like 2 times a year, which would still be worth it, but I like being able to have weekends with my family. I go to church every Sunday. I'm actually a youth pastor at my church, so I have to be at church, and I'm assuming they wouldn't like it so much needing at least Sunday off, if not the weekend off. So, and it's just, it ends up I think it would be more of a hassle than a benefit. I have thought about it, but I think it ended up would be more of a, the cons, I think, for me would be outweighed by the pros in that situation. But I have thought about it. It is close enough that I could, but currently I'm not really planning on it. Dino Calvary Bricks asks, I'm trying to get into Lego Star Wars YouTubing. I don't have a very large budget. How should I really go about it? Hey, congratulations. I hope you the best. Don't really have a budget. How should I go about it? I honestly did not start with that much. I spent like less than $100 on getting a microphone, actually to do a podcast, but that's World War II, not YouTube, but I do use my microphone for YouTube. So I spent like $100 on that, and then I did upgrade my phone to a little bit higher level than I needed to. So I spent a little bit more on that, but it didn't cost me a lot. You probably could get away with, if you have a decent laptop already, and then like $100 to get a good microphone, if that, with the materials. It's not really that hard to get into it. And then editing software, right now I use an app called VN something. I can't remember. I'll throw up a little thing here of it. There's other options out there. There's a free one. Again, I'll throw that up there. I just asked I asked if you guys have seen Five Lonely Bricks. I asked what he uses. He uses different software, and I saw that it's completely free. So those are a couple options. It's really not expensive, if not very cheap, to actually get started. If you want, maybe you could post some questions. If you want some tips, I could do that as well. But we'll move on, because this is got some other questions still too. But if you have more questions, just let me know if you want me to go further into that next week. Yoda the Giant asks, what are your thoughts on fleet building the most recent line of TIE ships, Fighter, Bomber, and Interceptor? I personally love them. I know they're a bit smaller scale, but they all fit together nicely. So so yes and no, I'm all for this. Like, I am wanting to do this. I'm not getting large squad. I'm not doing like a full TIE fighter wing, like a 4 or 5. Eventually, I wouldn't mind like 4 TIE fighters to have like a little wing, maybe. But like getting like 3 of each, or a full TIE squadron, probably not. But I do have one TIE bomber. I have the solo TIE fighter, which is, I think, my favorite. And that is why I did not get the TIE fighter. I did not like the downsize. I like the TIE bomber size. But the TIE fighter size from like 2020 or 2021, I did not like. So I did not actually get that TIE fighter. But the bomber, I think, is by all means, do it. It's retiring at the end of the year. And if it's, I hope it's not, but if it's 20 years again, definitely get some bombers. And then the TIE Interceptor, same thing. And actually, the weird thing is, within scale, the TIE Interceptor is in scale based on its size with the solo TIE fighter. It is actually one of the few starfighters in scale to the old starfighter size, not the more recent starfighter sizes. I don't know why, but it actually is. So that's something. So both of them, I can recommend. I don't mind it. I like the bomber. I like the interceptor. I don't like the fighter, so I didn't get it. So that's just what we got going on there. Yoda actually had another question from a different Q&A. If LEGO makes another blaster pack for Star Wars, do you think they'll include name characters / clone commanders or some generic troopers? Buddy, I'm probably gonna I'm just gonna cut it real quick here. I don't think they're doing it. I'll just put it that way, because they didn't do one this year, and we have no rumors of them doing it for the rest of the year. So I highly doubt they'll bring it back. If they do, I think the best option of what they should do, and I think what they might lean towards, would be some name characters from current media that might not necessarily fit in a set, whether that be Jedi from Tales of the Jedi, like back ago, or some Mandalorian figures, or something along the lines of fitting some figures that might not necessarily fit in a set, but would fit well in a blister pack, or just maybe figures that could go together we haven't gotten, like doing like a Separatist leader blister pack, because we haven't got many of them, or some Jedi that we haven't either gotten or gotten in a while. But I don't think it's happening, so unfortunately. And then Old Man the Bricks asks, what was your entry into the Star Wars universe? I was literally born into it. First day Star Wars was ever made, so that's pretty cool. So I'm always interested in how other people fell in love with the story. So I was essentially born into it because my dad was watched the movies, was a big Star Wars fan. So some of my earliest memories I can remember. I still remember when episode 3 came out, really wanting to watch that. I got to watch it, even though I was like 6 or 7 years old. My parents let me watch it, which is kind of surprising with poor Anakin. But nonetheless, so I still remember watching that. I still remember getting to watch episode 2 because of the Battle of Geonosis. So it has been since I have been a small child. And again, I got into Lego Star Wars in 2006. And I was 7 years old. So pretty much from the get-go. I was born with the prequels quite literally. The same year I was born was when episode 1 came out. So it's the prequels always been strong with me. And then the Clone Wars only made it bigger for me. So yeah, I've been a Star Wars fan as long as I can remember, and it's only grown in the time that I've been alive. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you. That was some amazing questions. I know I got a little bit lengthy on there. Again, Yoda, if you have more questions, or not, excuse me, Yoda, Dino Calvary, if you have some more questions about how to maybe get started, post them in next week's Q&A with maybe a little bit of an update or more specific, and I can definitely try and help you out there. Definitely want to help you with that. So if you have more personal questions, you can always shoot me a direct message on my Instagram page. I have that linked in my channel. So if you want to do that as well, I would answer you over there as well. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on Saturday. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be hopefully a fun one. I'm kind of excited about it. So catch you guys over there.